What's up? It's Andy Grammer with Jag.
Hi, this is Carly Rae Jepsen, and you're listening to Jag.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Jonas hanging with Jag.
This is Heather Knox with the hottest Jag I've ever seen.
Ryan Seacrest with Jag.
It's B.O.B. checking in with my homie Jag. So much swag with my homie Jag.
It's the Jag Show Podcast.
Welcome in, I am John Gay, aka Jag. As always, I want to start with a tip that I've learned this week, and that is take a break. If you're a podcast editor, if you're a podcaster, if you're a small business owner, especially in this era of COVID where we're all working from home so much, don't be afraid to give yourself a little bit of time off. The lines between work life and home life get very blurred when you're working from home and you're answering emails at all hours of the day. Normally, I record the Friday morning podcast on Thursday, but I'm actually recording on Wednesday this week because I blocked my calendar Thursday. So did my wife. We are both going to take a personal day together. And this personal day, as of now, might involve a Costco run. I'm not entirely sure what else it's going to be, but we both realized we should just take a mental health day and take a day off because a lot of people haven't been taking vacation time while they've been working from home. It's important to draw that line and back off work and give yourself a break every once in a while. On to this week's podcast news. The Podcast Academy has opened. I'm still researching more about it. Hope to maybe have somebody from the Podcast Academy on the show at some point. It bills itself as an independent, not-for-profit organization dedicated to fostering excellence and creativity in the podcast industry. That link to the press release is in the show notes. $50 to join, and you need 2 letters of recommendation. I'm not sure if I can go back to my high school English teacher and ask her if she still has the one she wrote for me for college, but I am intrigued. More to come. Pandora has now announced better podcast analytics. I haven't set my clients up on Pandora much yet because to me, they haven't yet proven themselves in the podcast space. I did submit one client podcast to Pandora in September, never got approved. So I set up an account, followed the instructions, submitted this show as well as the previous show from 9 months ago, and we'll see what happens. If you want to set your show up on Pandora, the link is also in the show notes, although I'm not convinced they're a major player yet. Apple, of course, had their Worldwide Developers Summit this week, and they've talked about the upcoming iOS version 14. A couple notable changes for Apple Podcasts. You can create your own profile there. Apple will give you suggestions for podcasts you might enjoy based on what you've listened to, and you can actually see what your friends are listening to because word-of-mouth recommendations are very big on discovering new podcasts. What I'm curious, though, is if they're going to allow a level of privacy. Maybe you don't want your friends knowing that you listen to My Dad Wrote a Porno. I wonder what kind of privacy controls are going to be on that, or if it's going to be an all or nothing kind of thing. Twitter has started allowing iOS users to add short audio clips. You'll see the camera icon for a picture, the video camera icon for video, and the waveform icon if you want to add a quick audio clip to a tweet. Almost like my friends who are too lazy to type up a text message and they just use the recorder button on iMessage and send me audio instead. Not available yet on Android, but rolling out slowly to Apple. On the Google side of the world, the Google Assistant going to start including podcast recommendations. There's a link to more information in the show notes for that. The big boys of podcasting, Spotify, continue to make news this week. Spotify has signed a deal with Warner Brothers and the DC Universe, continuing their path to try and take over the world. And Spotify also testing in-app interactive ads. The idea would be if somebody sponsors a podcast, you can actually click to their website from what you're listening to in Spotify instead of having to go jump through a few different hoops to get to order that Sleep Number bed. And Wondery, the big podcast house, they have a new app to listen to their shows. Seems like it's probably going to be to help drive their subscriptions. That's it for podcasting news this week. Very excited about Tuesday's podcast. Tom Kelly from Clean Cut Audio. If you've ever watched Top Chef and said, I know how to cook, but I don't know all that insane stuff they're talking about, Tom Kelly is kind of like the Top Chef of sound editing. He can talk about frequency and adding and subtracting and how to EQ and how to master and all this stuff that his 4-year audio degree has taught him that I don't quite understand. But it's going to be a really interesting conversation about production techniques and what he's learned as a podcast producer. So look for that on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe and stay healthy. Later.
Thanks for listening to the Jag Show Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe in Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes are published every Tuesday and Friday morning. For help with your podcast, find Jag on social media at Jag in Detroit or on the web at jagindetroit.com.